Hi, I'm Pat Posey, and this is Mochi, and we're going to take you along with us on our walk through the neighborhood this morning, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about an instrument you may never have heard of, the TUBAX, which is a reproportioned contrabass saxophone invented by Benedikt Eppelsheim in the late 1990s. When Adolf Sax filed his patent for the saxophone in summer 1846, he envisioned an instrument made in a wide range of sizes, from very small to very large. They all shared a similar design, stretched cone that is smaller at one end and wider at the other. Mochi, be nice to our neighbors. Hello. Be nice. As the instruments get larger, the amount of cone flare increases in proportion to the lengthening of the tube, which wraps over itself to make it manageable to hold and play. In the early 20th century, manufacturers settled on 6 conventional sizes: sopranino, soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, and bass. Now, the alto has about 4 feet of tubing with a 4-inch bell diameter. An octave bow is the baritone, which is 8 feet long with an 8-inch bell. So in the early 20th century, when someone tried to make a contrabass saxophone, it used 16 feet of tubing and had a bell diameter of roughly 16 inches. At over 6'8" and weighing 45 pounds, it was almost as hard to move as it was to play. The amount of cone flare meant that at the low end of the instrument, the additional volume of air between notes is roughly the size of a 5-gallon bucket. Only a handful were made by a few different companies over the years, and the instrument never really caught on. In the late 1990s, a German saxophonist and music tech named Benedikt Eppelsheim envisioned a new version of the contrabass. His design used the same 16 feet of tubing, but cut the amount of flare in half. The result is an instrument with the mouthpiece of a baritone and the bell of a baritone, with twice as much tubing in between. Since cones progress exponentially, the reduced flare of the instrument meant moving an air column roughly a quarter of the volume required of a traditional contrabass. And the reduced size of the bore across the length meant it could be wrapped around itself 4 times, making it much more compact, but requiring a complete redesign of the mechanism, which retains the fingering system of a saxophone, but has the levers, rods, and pads moving in complex new ways. Despite these differences, it's interesting to compare Benedikt's design to that which Adolf included in his patent, where we can see the lowest instruments wrap around themselves 4 times. So after 150 years, an evolved version of Adolf's dream could finally be realized. Since the proportions are different, Benedikt's instrument is not technically a saxophone, so we called it a TUBAX, a portmanteau of the words tuba and saxophone. Tragically, Benedikt Eppelsheim passed away in 2023, but his legacy continues in his shop in Munich, where expert makers continue to make TUBAXs and other instruments. The TUBAX's sonic possibilities are still being explored, and I'm excited to add my voice to this with the release of the first streamable album featuring solo TUBAX, They Beast, coming out on November 3rd, 2023 on Avie Records, available in your record shop and on all platforms. Please check out patposey.com for more information on the TUBAX, as well as a guide to writing for the instrument, which I'll continue to update. And hit me up with any questions or comments or ideas. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day. Say goodbye, Mochi.